And welcome back to the baseline, where today, guys, we are going to talk about the MLB awards that is starts today with the Rookie of the Years, and let's get to it. Where the Rookie of the Years it gonna be very very interesting. Um, I think the AL the winner is already decided, and the NL I think might be a little bit close. But on the AL side, we have Roman Anthony, Nick Kurtz, and Jacob Wilson. Um, Roman Anthony came up in June. Batted 292. Was really really good. 4 home runs, 98 plate appearances, OPS if you're in that sort of thing, 903 before he got hurt back in September. Um, Basically, once the Red Sox moved Rafi Devers and they brought in Roman Anthony, everything changed. It was kind of like the landscape of the Red Sox, probably like the future of the Boston Red Sox, which I hope they do keep him. I know they have a history of trading big guys and getting rid of them. Betts, Devers, Bogarts, all for example. But Roman Anthony, I think is not gonna get enough credit. Maybe a little bit of second, maybe third place because of that injury. If he didn't get injured, I think he's going to win. I think he would have won. Very great player, very talented, and the outfield, you know, very, very good player overall. So, we'll have to see. But I think he's going to be third. Um, it's just going to suck because I think they're going to downgrade him more because of the injury. But overall, terrific player. Can't wait to see what he does once he comes back next year. Jacob Wilson of the Athletics. Um, you know, was finished second behind Judge in the AL batting title. Um, he batted 311. He did get injured a little bit. Went on a slump in 9 games after the forearm he sustained in July 8th. But really was a great player. Only striking out 39 times this whole year, which is remarkable. You never really see that at all. A lot of guys strike out a lot. But definitely a talented kid for the Athletics. Probably the future of the Athletics. If he, if the Athletics never decide to rebuild, I think they need to keep some guys there, especially when they move to Las Vegas. I believe that will be in another 2 years. So we'll see where that goes. But like I said, very talented kid. Like him, very very great. This is my winner, Nick Kurtz. One of the greatest rookie seasons ever. Debuted really early in the season. Led all rookies in home runs with 36, RBIs 86, extra base hits 64, runs 90. Again, slugging percentage and OPS, if you're interested, slugging percentage was 619, OPS was 1.002. And that was actually the first that an OPS has been up that since Aaron Judge in 2017. Um, Again, great first baseman. It moved Brent Rooker to the DH, which I think is great for him. Um, just because, Nick Kurtz is a great defender at first, plays well, and he's just a very fun guy to watch. And for his MLB career, uh, another great acquisition or talent for the Athletics. Again, hopefully they don't trade him. But if we do, down the line, I know I'm looking in the future, he'll be great for any ball club. Even on the big stage, he'll be great. And I think he's the winner. I think in the AL, if I have to go, be him, Wilson, and Roman Anthony. Just because Roman Anthony got hurt a lot. Um, I got deduct points from Roman Anthony. Not in a bad way. Just I think if he continued, he might have won, but yeah, he's not, sadly. But yeah, I think Nick Kurtz is the favorite. Also, let's not forget that that 6 for 6 performance with the 4 home runs against the Astros earlier this year, which was a great game in the regular season. So my prediction. I think Nick Kurtz does win the AL Rookie of the Year. As for the NL, we have Drake Baldwin from the catcher from the Braves. Um, Really solid player. He batted 274 with 19 home runs. Um, I felt like when he came up, he did really well for the Braves. This was around the Braves were struggling. They needed a guy. Murphy goes out. So now you bring up Baldwin, which I think should be the catcher every year, or the starting catcher from now on. He is very good. Doesn't really miss a lot, and all the starting pitchers love him, especially Chris Sale. I think they said has a lot of faith on him. He's been really, really good. Um, his numbers and performance have been phenomenal for the Braves. Again, another guy um, who would be um, another star I think the Braves will look at to sign long term because they've been doing that really well. So, Kate Horton, like I said, I think is just. I think he might have a shot. I think right now he'll be my favorite just because of how great he helped the Braves and, you know, just performing very, very well. For the Brewers, Caleb Dubrin, uh, once again, another infielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's done really well. Um, he didn't really make the opening day roster, but he was in the majors before, I want to say April, May, where he batted 256, 11 home runs, and 53 RBIs. So he was, a little less than what um, Baldwin was doing. Um, but he, led the NL rookies in stolen bases, runs. hits. He was always in like the top. I know he was first in stolen bases, second in runs. He was third in hits. Home runs, he was fourth. And total bases, he was fourth. And then RBIs, he was also tied for fourth. Um, basically was a great acquisition for them. Um, I think he was part of the Devin Williams trade, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he was. He was part of the Devin Williams trade. I think the Milwaukee Brewers really did won this trade. He's been a great asset. Uh, did really well. During the Cubs post against the Cubs in the postseason was okay, but it's just getting the taste of it. So, yeah, I think he will be, again, a great acquisition. I think he finished. I think he finishes second in the rookie of the year. But either way, good pick up for Milwaukee Brewers. Here's the guy I think is going to win, which is Cade Horton. When Imagama went down, he came up. Has been really, really well. He went 11-4 and with an ERA of 2.67 in 23 appearances and 22 starts. He finished with 97 strikeouts, 33 walks, and 118 innings. Before he actually got hurt. I know I criticized Roman Anthony and about him getting hurt, but Cade Horton, just one of the dominant pitchers. It reminds me of like Justin Steele, with the same team. Very consistent. He really doesn't give up that many runs here in his first year. Like I said, 2.67, not really bad at all for the for your first start. Um, I think it's gonna be close. I think though that Horton might actually win. If he doesn't, I think it's gonna be close. Be either between him and Baldwin. Both guys really, really good players. All three of them are. But we are. I don't have a vote, but if I did, Kurtz and Horton are my two guys. So let's go to tomorrow, which will be the manager of the year, where we go have Terry Francona, Pat Murphy, and Rob Thompson. Yeah, Thompson and the NL. Look, Terry Francona, surprise run, giving the Reds into the postseason for a while. I know it's not really didn't go well. Like at the end, I think they lost, and that's how they won because the Mets lost. But I wouldn't be surprised if Terry Francona can turn this team around. Do I think he wins? No, I think he finishes third. But great manager, Hall of Fame manager, and like I said, I don't think anybody was expecting Cincinnati to make it into the playoffs, especially the ways that they played. But yeah, you never know. So Terry Francona, though, really turned this team around. Not so much with the stolen bases, which I really wish he would do because Ellie Cruz could do so much with stealing bases. But he's just not a stealing base guy. Um, but I really hope that he does get Ellie De La Cruz going. I know De La Cruz struggled a lot the last couple months of the postseason, the regular season. So we'll see what happens in 2026. But Terry Francona, like I said, I think finishes third. He is looking for his fourth manager of the year, which would tie him with Bobby Cox, La Russa, and Buck Showalter. Great class. Rob Thompson, been manager of the Yankees since 2022. The first time the Phillies won the division title back to back, I think since like 10, 15, something like that. So, ever since Rob Thompson did take over, the Phillies just have been phenomenal. They play hard. They show hustle and guts. They finished the season with 96 and 66. So Rob Thompson is a great manager. I know the postseason doesn't count, but I think if they maybe did make it far, he would get more votes. I think he just finished second. Just because it's just, yes, there were struggles, but he did put the team together. I mean, like I said, great manager since he took over, but I think they just missed. Here's my winner, which is Pat Murphy. Pat Murphy has won back-to-back, NL Central titles in his first two seasons with the Milwaukee Brewers. He also got his first postseason win this year against the Cubs. Looking to be the first to win back-to-back NL Manager of the Year since Bobby Cox in 04 and 05 with the Braves. I think Pat Murphy wins because no one expected the Brewers to win. I didn't either. If you go back and listen to my predictions, I had the Cubs, and then the Brewers finishing second. I didn't think Milwaukee was going to be that good, especially, again, trading Devin Williams, getting these rookie guys, and letting go of Willie Adames, a fan favorite there. Christian Yelich last year was always hurt, and Pat Murphy has come back and changed this team around. Christian Yelich had a phenomenal, great year. Andrew Vaughn, of all people, gets traded there, and he has a terrific season. And from what I've heard is Pat Murphy holds the players both accountable. He will throw them under the bus. Not obviously in the open, but behind closed doors, and that's what I think you need out of a manager. Pat Murphy is well respected. I respect him as well. And like I said, no one thought they were going to win the Central. No one thought they were going to get as far as they did in the playoffs. So Pat Murphy got my vote for NL Manager of the Year. As for the AL, we got John Schneider, Stephen Vogt, and Dan Wilson. All of them former catchers. Stephen Vogt, it's just another great guy. Again, no one picked him to win. They were like 15 and a half games out of first place in July and ended up winning the whole thing. Stephen, and I know he is well respected. He knows what he's doing. They also did this without two of their bullpen pieces, and Class A and Ortiz, which we'll get to in a minute. But how could you not put him in as a manager of the year? Did great, um, pushed all the right buttons to where Cleveland ended up winning again. It was a phenomenal run by the Guardians within 3 months. I was shocked. I thought it was pretty cool. Dan Wilson taking Seattle to the division, to the playoffs. Also winning the division for the first time since 2001. Just first time in his first full year as the Mariners manager. Wow, that's a sentence. But yeah, he's done really great. This is a young ball club mixed with veterans. And I know they're hungry to win, so is he. But he knows what he's doing. He's been with his ball club for a very, very long time. And, you got to respect that. And I think this is the right move for them. I was a little mad last year when they got rid of Scott's service. But turns out that he's done a very great job for the Mariners. And it's funny that every time the managers have won the divisions, I think 3 times. I think one was like in 95, 2001, and 2025. He's been part of it. So that's actually pretty cool to see that he's been part of all the division winning clubs. And then you got John Schneider, who is coming off a last place finish last year. And he brought this Blue Jays club to 1 win away from winning the World Series. That is pretty cool. I respect him. I know some people don't because his attitude stinks, just the way how he comes off. But he has pushed his team to the level. Again, no one thought the Blue Jays, same thing with Pat Murphy, thought they were going to win the division. No one thought they were going to beat the Yankees. No one thought they were going to beat the Seattle Mariners. And then they pushed the Dodgers to their limits. I think this one's going to be very close because, like I said, you have Stephen Vogt and you have John Schneider. I got to pick John Schneider just because of everything that happened. Bo Bichette injury, the Scherzer injury, the Jose Berrios injury. Hoffman was not that good like June, July. And he found a way to bring this team where we're like the bullpen is the main problem, and they were 1 win away from the World Series. I think you got to put John Schneider in. You have to. I think he wins. I think he's got to be the best. He's the best choice. So let's go to Wednesday where we have the Cy Young winners. Let's start with the NL where we have Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies, Paul Skeens, and Shigeru Yamamoto. I think this is already decided in my mind, but let's talk about it anyway. Sanchez was the ace of the Phillies. You can't argue with that. When Wheeler went down, he came up, and he was just phenomenal. He had a career year, 13-5 with an ERA of 2.5 212 strikeouts, and 202 innings pitched. Um, he ranked third in the NL in ERA, fifth in strikeouts, and second in innings pitched. Um, yeah, this is definitely the future ace of the Phillies. I know Zach Wheeler's going to retire after 2027. Christopher Sanchez, I think, has proven that he could step up and be that ace of the ball club. Phenomenal pitcher. I love watching him. Even did great in the Dodgers series. I know they didn't win that series, but he was phenomenal for the. He was phenomenal for the Phillies. He did a very, very great job. For Yamamoto, he was the MVP for the World Series. Um, was healthy this year compared to last year. He went 12-8, ERA is 2.49, 201 strikeouts, and 173 and two-third innings over 30 starts. Um, he's just, he was lights out, and he did very well. He Again, I know they have Ohtani, but again, another guy I think is the ace of this ball club, and over Ohtani, over Snell and Glass. Now he's proved that last year was just some freaky injury, and that's what it was. So, but I think he finishes second because the winner in my mind is Paul Skeens, who won the Rookie of the Year last year and was on the way for Cy Young this year. He had a 1.997 ERA and collected 216 strikeouts and 187 and two-third innings pitched. Guys, I feel like Paul Skeens has been in this league for years. This is his only second year, and I believe he's only going to get better. Whether it's in Pittsburgh or wherever else he's going to pitch, he is just a phenomenon. And the days that he pitches, you have to watch. This dude is phenomenal. Reminds me a little bit of Jacob deGrom. What I mean by that is that he doesn't get the run support for his team, but he is just a phenom. And like I said, won the Rookie of the Year last year, and I believe he's going to win the Cy Young this year. He's just too good for him not to be in the sight and to not win. He's way too good. I like him. His career, he's been 2 years, and he's already in talks of the Hall of Fame. It's phenomenal. AL, I think it's going to be very, very close. You have Hunter Brown of the Astros, Garrett Crochet, and Terrence Skubal. Hunter Brown actually did a lot better than I thought he did. His ERA was 2.43, 206 strikeouts. He actually had a batting average, an opponent batting average of 201, which, a lot better than I thought. Do I think he's going to win? No. Just because you're facing two great aces that have been phenomenal. But I was another pitcher like Yamamoto who got hurt last year towards the end of the season. Didn't get to pitch in the postseason, but he is, again, another future ace, I believe. If Valdez walks, Brown is going to be the ace of the Astros in 2026. As for Garrett Crochet, Yeah, wow, he had a great year. He led the AL with 205 with in third innings, and in MLB with 255 strikeouts with a 2.59 ERA. He has proven that he can be a starting pitcher. He has been really well. I think this is a great trade for the Red Sox. He even signed an extension. I think it was like 6 years, $170 million extension. He's been phenomenal, and I could tell you he's gonna give Terrence Skubal a run for his money. Do I think Crochet will win? It's gonna be up and down because for Skubal, who's looking to be AL's back-to-back winner since Pedro Martinez in '99 and in 2000. Himself, he had his ERA of 2.21. He struck out 241 batters. Yeah, he was dominant, and I like Crochet. He's just one of those dominant pitchers that are going to get better as they go, even with Paul Skeens. Um, it's gonna be it's a toss up to either one, but if I had to, I don't know, if I had to pick, I think I gotta go with Crochet. Just a little bit better, help the Red Sox out. Um, every time he was pitching, I gotta go with Crochet, but I would not be surprised if Scooball won. Um, then the last day, Thursday, MVP, NL, Ohtani, Schwarber, Soto. Soto, great first year with the Mets. He struggled in April, struggled in May, and had a career. 43 home runs. Led the NL with 38 stolen bases. Think about that for a minute. He's not really that good. Um, he has 12 triples this year. He had 105 RBIs and 120 runs scored. Also 127 walks, and his on base percentage was 3.96. If you were to say in April that Ron Soto was going to finish third and the MVP, um, I wouldn't have believed you because April and May were so bad. But once I was listening to the MLB network, and they made a good point where it was once he got no longer got asked about the Yankee questions, and he calmed down, and they were starting to play well in the summer. That's when he started to play well. Now I think you gotta build around him to get these numbers again. But Juan Soto, listen, I'm happy for him. I love Juan Soto. I think he's he's a really good player. 26 years old. He's gonna win the MVP eventually. I just don't think it's this year. I think he finishes third. Schwarber, for the first time ever, he is an MVP finalist. Won his second home run crown with a career high of 56. One more than Ohtani last year, and he led the majors with 132 RBIs. Listen, I think Schwarber. You have to have Schwarber win. I know it's weird to say, but he has to win. He's been really well. He's hit been really great for this Phillies franchise. You know, I know people are gonna say with Ohtani, you know, because it's a one of a kind player. But Kyle Schwarber, I think, wins it. Those home runs are just he hits them far. Like I said, without him, I don't think the Phillies are where they were. I don't think they go in the first place. They get that far into the, you know, into the postseason. They probably a wild card team. And Schwarber brings momentum to that ball club. Even, I don't know, off camera, he works with people. Everyone goes to him. How can I not win the MVP? And then, of course, you do have Ohtani. Will actually be the second um, person to win 4 MVPs. Barry Bonds. He batted 282. He had 55 home runs, 20 stolen bases, 102 RBIs with 141 scored. And as a pitcher, he had 287 ERA, 62 strikeouts, and 47 innings pitched over 14 starts. Look, I know people always say that Ohtani's going to win because he does both. If that's the case, then he's winning until he retires. I think in my mind, you have to be going back to Kyle Schwarber. Who will be better? The Dodgers were already a phenomenal team without Ohtani. The Phillies are not without Kyle Schwarber. I understand they have Bryce Harper, but Kyle Schwarber, I think, it's more of the elite player. And that's where I want to put down. I think Schwarber wins the MVP. I think Ohtani comes second. It's just Kyle Schwarber, I think, is more of a great asset for the Phillies than Ohtani is to the Dodgers. The AL side, Aaron Judge, Cal Riley, and Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, underrated. He's not going to win, sadly. I know, but finished with his second straight 30-40 season. 30 home runs, 44 RBIs, 283 batting average, over 154 games. Back to what I was saying with the Schwarber and Ohtani, if we were voting for what the MVP actually stands for, it's Jose Ramirez wins. He's not going to, but he does. Jose Ramirez the Guardians without Jose Ramirez are nothing. They are nothing. Sadly that he's not going to win. I really wish that he would though. But he was a great player, underrated. And I always realize that he's like always in these final threes. But he just doesn't get higher than that. And I hope one day he does. Aaron Judge, won the MVP in 22 and 24. He had 53 home runs, the fourth time in his career. 137 runs, 124 walks, which led the league. He batted 333. Great player. Again, one of the best players we're going to see in this generation. On the big stage, I know Sally right now looks like the Mike Trout. I mean, he's going to be in the playoffs every year, but I don't know if they'll win while he's in there. I'm hoping he does. He deserves it. Plays well, works his butt off. And, even with the arm injury, he was still, playing and in the field. And so the Yankees, don't have a great player. Again, I think it's close finish because Cal Riley, 60 home runs, the most by any catcher, 125 RBIs. He also did this while catching more than 1,000 innings this year. Shattered a home run record by a switch hitter. and helped the Seattle Mariners win their first division since '01. I think Cal Raleigh does it because it's just the numbers. I know he doesn't have the batting average, he doesn't have the OPS, which people want, but I think Cal Raleigh is the MVP. Broke Mickey Mantle's switch hitting record, broke the catching home run record. How can you not win? I think it's going to be close, but at the end, I think Cal Raleigh wins the MVP. That will do it for me. Let me know who you guys are thinking is going to win. Who do you think is going to bring home the awards? And next week, we're going to try to talk about all-season rumors. Not really right now. There's more predictions than there is rumors. But, hey, we're going to get to it. I think it's going to be a fun off-season. Thank everyone so much for the views and the followers. I really appreciate that. Once again, hit that like button and the notification bell so you don't miss it every Monday. And from that, I'm going to sign off, and I will see you all in the next one.